Welcome and thank you for listening to the Sales Maven Show. I'm your host, Nikki Rausch. Today, in our Mastering Excellence episode, we are digging into a powerful concept. What if the key to increasing your profit isn't creating something new? Oh boy, this one's for me. But better, leveraging what you already have. I'm talking about your invisible inventory, the unused content, the untapped services, the under scheduled time hiding in plain sight. My guest today, Sierra Stocklin, has built and sold inventory-based businesses and now helps others become profitable using simple, structured strategies. And today she's going to reveal how to take what's sitting idle in your business and turn it into something that drives revenue. Let me tell you a little bit about Sierra. She is a speaker, she's an author, she is a four-time Ironman and a fractional CFO for inventory-based businesses. A lifelong entrepreneur, she opened her first store in 2006 and went on to franchise it. She later launched and sold the first wholesale subscription box for boutique retailers, in just 18 months. Sierra is the creator of the Inventory Genius consulting program and the author of Inventory Genius and Profit Genius, offering practical strategies to increase profitability in inventory-based businesses. She's testified before the US Senate. She's represented small businesses at two White House summits and serves as a Profit First certified coach. In her free time, she trains for endurance races and recently completed the Ironman World Championship in Kona in 2023 and New Zealand in 2024. She lives in Tennessee with her husband, Jem, and their Great Pyrenees Bentley. Did I say that right?
You did, yeah.
Okay, awesome. Well, welcome to the show, friend. I'm so
Hey,
excited to have you
thanks for
and
having me.
and to be willing to talk about this. And oh my gosh, your bio has to be one of the most interesting I have like read in a while. Like you have done it all, my friend. I am
I've done
just
a
blown
lot.
away.
Little crazy. Yeah.
The
Quite a
White
few
House,
challenges.
yeah, the
Yes.
White House, the challenges, the like, I just feel like, how, how do you like get anything done? You're
I
so
just
busy.
moved from one thing to the next. No. This is actually going to be such a good topic today because I don't know if you know anything about the Colby test,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah, so I'm a 10 quick start, meaning I'm the
Okay.
fastest quick start. Yep. Yep. So give me something, I'm on to the next thing, challenge, move from one thing to the next. And I've had to really learn how to structure that to use
Yeah.
it to my advantage, but also be very cautious with it because entrepreneurs can, which we're going to talk about, they can go crazy, always doing the next thing. And so, yes, there's a lot of my bio, but they were all different seasons. And I
Hmm.
think that's important to
Oh,
know.
okay. I love that you pointed that out. I think I'm an 8 on the quick start for Colby, but it's been a while since I've looked at it. Okay, so our topic today really is to how to structure invisible inventory because most of my listeners, not all, but most of them are service-based businesses. So these, your services, your content, and your time, how to make it more profitable. And I just feel like this is such a really special opportunity for us to tap into your expertise and hear how this, like, how do you think about these things and how do you show up in the room and how do you bring this into your business and bring this into your work with your clients? So, my first question I always start off with is if I got to stand in for you for a day, like I got to be you, how lucky would I be? What is something I would have to do or think and or behave in order to really think about turning my invisible inventory into something that's more profitable?
So you would really need to be able to bucket your time. So I start in the morning with the same routine. And I always tell people, especially young moms, young women that are, I'm empty nester now. So I'm a different stage of life. Don't use this to feel guilty because there's different seasons for everything. But at this point in life, I can get up and I have the luxury of my own time. So I start my day off and I have the same structure. Make my coffee, I have a one-line journal, I do a little bit of spiritual reading, and then I read one or two chapters in a business book. And then I'll kind of plot out my day. Then I get ready. Everything is structured. And then throughout the week, my time is structured too. So it depending on what day you were filling in for me.
Okay.
Tuesdays are my call days. So Tuesday and then Wednesday morning, that's when I do all my coaching calls. Mondays are typically a little bit more laid back kind of prep day. Tuesday, Wednesday coaching call. Wednesday afternoon and Thursday are podcasts, recording, things like that. And then Fridays, I usually try to take that off. So depending on the day, you would also have very specific themes for the day. And then within my hours, I have things that I do too. So just always checking off the boxes. And when it's, 4 o'clock, I'm usually done. I go do my workouts, eat by 6, sit down and watch TV. Like I'm very structured and regimented.
Have you always been that way? Or what did something change? Did
So
something
I
happen?
am really good at operations,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not natural. I think the reason that I'm good at operations is because I can solve problems really well.
Mm-hmm.
But to be efficient in operations, you have to be able to manage your time. And so I've learned that as I've built businesses, lost businesses, won, failed, all the things, that if I don't have routines that go with things like the atomic habit type way of
Mm-hmm.
thinking where I'm stacking things, I'll forget things and be very unorganized. So I would say I haven't always been, but I think I've always been very self-aware to know that I have a weakness here. I better figure out a way to fix that if I
Mm-hmm.
want to move to the next level of whatever I'm doing.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so for the listener, few little nuggets that I feel like you've already given us is this idea of having a routine, having structure to your time, and even within that time, things that you're going to do and or accomplish, and just that efficient to be efficient means that you manage your time. I think that is like a great quote just on its own. Like being efficient means you manage your time. I love that so much. Okay, so when you think about your goals of turning invisible inventory into profit, what would some of those goals be?
I want to be a good steward of what I have. So that's my biggest goal. If I have a skill set, if I have money, if I have time, if I have opportunity, I want to steward it well. And so if that's your ultimate goal, it creates a mentality of being very intentional. So, for example, if I'm going to go to a conference, I want to be intentional and steward that well. It costs money, it takes time away from my customers. So what's the expected return on that investment? And it might not be a monetary return. It might be a mental return. It might be, it might be a financial return. And so I think that's the overarching goal. And then within that, the other goals, are going to follow. So with eating well, and I think a lot of
Can
times
I
business,
stop you for just a second?
yeah.
You just broke up there.
Oh,
I
sad.
think this
Okay.
is me. I think this might be my internet connection. Okay, so Kevin, I'm going to ask you to edit this piece out. So you were just saying being intentional about an expected return on investment.
Yeah.
Can we pick up from there?
Yes.
Okay, so sorry.
That's okay. Yeah, so being very intentional that you're going to expect a return on investment. I know that you work with one-on-one clients, I work with one-on-one clients, and so when we're having that consult call with them and they're thinking about investing a lot of money in us, they get nervous, right? And I always tell them, you should expect a return on your investment with me. We think about ROI when it comes to marketing all the time. Like,
Hmm.
what's your ROI? But what's your ROI on the people? What's your ROI on the time that you're investing in the, education that you're investing with yourself? So if you think about being a good steward and then break that down into how I can be intentional with that investment, that's going to be great for an overarching goal.
I love that. That's a really fantastic way to be thinking about anything that you're doing. What is the intention? In NLP, we always say outcome. Like, what's your outcome? Because if you don't know where, like, what your outcome is, it's easy to get distracted. It's easy to like get off course. So it just seems like this idea of being really intentional makes the difference. I love that you also spoke about it from a client perspective as well, right? Of helping clients understand that they should receive ROI as a result of working with you.
Yeah.
Um, so I think that's really important as well. So my next kind of follow-up question is, how do you know that you're achieving the goals? Like, how do you know, like, what are some indicators that let you know, yes, you're being efficient. Yes, you're being a good steward, all of these things.
I mean, I think making progress is what would come naturally, to the way that we would think about it. Like if I'm making progress, so I'm increasing my revenue or I'm gaining speed on my run, if you're
Yeah.
training for something athletic, right? So we're seeing progress. Um, but I think a less tangible but really important thing to think about is that you are living in a very calm space. So when I work with clients, most of the time they come to me because their financial finances are out of control. Tons of debt, money coming in, no money in the checking account. I owe taxes, but I don't have any money. And so when that happens, everything is frantic. So what entrepreneurs do is when we're low on cash or we're feeling cash crunch, we just get really frantic with selling. I'm going to make more offers. I'm going to sell more stuff. I just got to sell more stuff. And the more frantic we get, the less peace we have. So when
Mm-hmm.
you're being intentional, you're being a good steward, you're expecting an ROI, you're managing your time well, you're just going to have a very calm life. So that's a good indicator when you're like, I'm feeling like I'm always running around. I'll hear people say, I'm a hot mess, which just bugs me. Like you're choosing to be a hot mess.
Okay.
So we're not gonna live in hot mess mode anymore. I did a workshop on that once because I was so frustrated. I'm like, okay, hot mess mode workshop. We're getting out of a hot mess. Because
I
I
love
think we
it.
also we get addicted to chaos.
Yeah.
And we like to use that as an excuse. Well, I'm just a hot mess. You're choosing that. So you need to choose to be a good steward, like we talked about, to expect a
Mm-hmm.
return on investment, to bucket your time. And as you do that and get more simple in your offerings, which I'm guessing we'll talk about, you'll find more and more calm and peace. And I say this because I did it wrong before. So everything I share, it's not, I think we see highlight reels of people and, she went to the White House and she's done Ironman. I lost everything. I lost my business at one point. Like I've made a lot of mistakes too. And so it's about why did I do that? How did I get there? And how can I change it? And I lived in that mentality of like 24/7, answer every email because you got to make a sale. And at the end of the day, I lost my business anyway. So I'm
Mm.
like, I don't want to live like that. How can I do this differently?
Okay. So I love that you gave this like really kind of breakdown structure right here. Is like first, what are you choosing? Two, are you expecting a return on your investment? Like having some intention around it. And that one of the ways that you really know that you are on track and that you are working towards achieving that goal is that there is a place of calm and peace, that it isn't this like frantic scramble, which I
Yeah.
think a lot of times I know I find myself in that place from time to time too. And that's the most miserable place for me to be
Yeah.
when I feel like I'm scrambling. And yeah, and I don't think we make very smart decisions in that mode.
Yes.
Not
We don't.
definitely not our best decisions.
No.
Yeah. So let's dig in a little bit because you mentioned it, this idea of it isn't always about maybe creating something new, that it's like, what do you have and how can you maximize it? So I'd love to just hear your take on that and what comes to mind.
Yeah.
Any and everything there.
Okay, so I have an illustration that I'll give your
Okay.
audience. A couple years ago, I bought my husband a Christmas gift. I'm not a very good gift giver. So I was really excited about this one. He loves Notre Dame, loves Billy Joel, and Billy Joel was playing at Notre Dame Stadium. So I'm like, oh my goodness, gift of a lifetime. So I got him tickets. So we had our tickets. We went to the stadium. We're walking up the steps. And I was like, I'm gonna get a good drink, a snack, we'll sit down, it'll be so much fun. Get upstairs and I realized this is a football stadium, they sell beer. And I'm not a big beer drinker. And I was thinking, some sort of fruity fun drink instead. And no, it's a beer. Okay, well, I'll just have water. And then I turned to my right and I saw a vodka lemonade stand. And I was like, perfect. I'm gonna have a vodka lemonade. That'll be great. So I walk up and I wish I would have took a picture of it, but I was in a line at a stand that did one thing, one size, one price over and over and over. And I guarantee you they made a ton of money. And that has always resonated with me. And I share that example all the time with my clients. You need to find your vodka lemonade. We get really bored as entrepreneurs with the thing that we have to do over and over and over. But what's not boring is making money. And so if you can step back and say, okay, I feel bored just selling vodka lemonade. I want to sell pop. I want to sell coolers. I want to sell popcorn and gum and all these things. Pretty soon we're everything to everyone and nobody, nothing to nobody.
Mm-hmm.
Or we can say we're vodka lemonade, and yeah, the people who want beer aren't going to come, but there are plenty of women in this line who know exactly what we sell. We do it one way over and over and over, and profit is very fun because you can do all the fun things in life when you have the profit to pay for it. And so that's what I think we need to think about as entrepreneurs instead of trying to frantically add and be everything to everyone, and we might miss out on them and we might miss out on them. Like, what's the one thing that we can do and just really perfect it and do it really, really well?
Mm. This is so powerful. I feel like you're speaking right to the heart of me. I just had a mentor say to me, Nikki, like, stop creating new offers because I have this new and different mentality and I get bored. I'm so bored with me
Yeah.
that I want that next thing. But I love how you say profit is fun. There's another great quote right there. Profit is fun, people. It's
Yes.
so
I
true.
always tell people, like, you know what's not boring? Making money and keeping it.
That's
Keeping
right.
your money is not boring. Making money
Yes.
sometimes can be a little scary if you don't know how to keep it, but that's a whole different topic for a different
Yeah.
day. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you think about advising a client on finding their vodka lemonade, which sounds delicious, by the way, right now on a very hot
Very
day out here.
refreshing in the
Yeah.
summer.
Yeah.
Yes.
What are some of the key steps or like what would be the first step for somebody to identify what is their vodka lemonade?
Yeah. So I think looking at what you have currently that's working well or what has worked well in the past. So sometimes something will work well and then we add and then we add and then we add and now the business is frantic and confusing and nothing's working. So if you don't have something now that's working well, what has worked well in the past? I'll give an actual client example because I think stories help us as entrepreneurs connect the
Hmm.
dots. So I had a client come to me. She makes homemade skincare, like organic skincare, and she was selling retail, wholesale, and private label. So that's three different customers, three different ways of marketing, three different avatars. Like, yes, she sold the same product. It's three different business models. And when
Mm,
I tell people that, they're like, "What? I'm selling lotion to everyone." Yes, but it's everything about it is different. How you speak to them, where you market, your social media, all of that. And so I said, okay, let's break down these three different revenue streams and see what has the most potential. And we found that the private label had so much potential because she was going to be making one thing and selling it over and over and over to a client versus one to this customer, hoping people find my Shopify website or chasing boutiques in the wholesale space. And she didn't want to do it. I said, you need to get rid of everything and become the chapstick lady. That's what I told her because it's chapstick. That's the part of her line that she could private label. They're $1.50 a piece, but you sell a bunch of them. Once you have a customer, they reorder all the time. And it was really hard for her, as it is for all entrepreneurs, to give up things, right? But I'm
yes.
making money over here. And it really isn't costing me anything or taking me any time to sell retail because the website's already up. So I always challenge people to think when they're looking for their vodka lemonade, first challenge that way of thinking. Yes, your website's up, but you're answering customer service. You have to take different kind of pictures for social media. Everything takes time. So, and everything takes opportunity, away from something else. And so eventually we convinced her, we worked through things and we narrowed it down. She became the chapstick lady. And her story is phenomenal because when she came to me, she was investing her own money into her business every single month to keep it afloat, write people's paychecks. A year and a half later, she's making money. She went on a 6-month cruise around the world with her family and left her business run because it was so systematized. One thing over and over and over all day long. Super simple. She found her vodka lemonade. And it wasn't the super sexy, like organic skincare lotion. It was chapstick, but making money is sexy. And so, yeah, so I think just thinking about that, like, what do you have? And if you're a service-based business too, like how many offers do you have and how many different price points and different customers you're trying to attract? Really narrow that focus down and then get really honed in on doing that really, really well.
Love this. And again, feel like you're speaking right to the heart of me. Thank you. I think I needed to hear that
And I
too.
have to do that with myself too,
Yeah.
because I can solve a lot of problems and I have a lot of ideas.
Hmm.
And so just learning to be a really good editor of your own thoughts and ideas is so important if you want to succeed. Because I can do that too. I'm like, Sierra, yep, you could do that, but should you do that?
Yeah.
Should you really be doing that? So I
Yeah.
think we all have to, draw back from time to time too.
Yeah. I love that because I'm a lot of, well, I could do this and I can do that. I can definitely do this. But it's like, I always have to ask myself though. I do ask myself, like, will it make money and will
Yeah.
it make me happy? Like, will I
Yeah.
enjoy it? And if
Mhm.
I can't say yes to at least one of those questions, the answer is heck no, I'm not doing
Yeah.
it. Right. But yeah. So anyway, okay. So let's see. How, what do you do? Let me think about how I want to ask this question. Well, I guess here's what I really want to ask is how do you know, like, what are some indicators for somebody, maybe you or me or anybody listening? How do you know that it's really time to pay attention to your invisible inventory? And maybe you feel like you've answered that, but I just want to check in and see.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you're feeling too chaotic,
Mm-hmm.
I can feel that when I'm like, too much on the calendar. I'm starting to get irritated. I'm starting to get short-tempered. I'm feeling agitated. I'm feeling like I'm running around. I just don't want to live that way anymore. Like we
Yeah.
become entrepreneurs so that we can buy freedom. It's not about the money usually, right? It's like the
Mm-hmm.
freedom that we create for ourselves. But then we box ourselves into like someone else's schedule and everybody else's timeline and then we end up frantically doing things and then we have debt and now we're a servant to the lender too and before we know it we're like, oh my goodness, and I'm not getting paid. Well, this doesn't sound great, you know?
Yeah.
And so when you're
Yeah.
starting to feel those things, I think you have to figure out, if you want to succeed in entrepreneurship, how to become acutely self-aware. What am I feeling? Am I falling back into bad habits again? Am I not a humble listener? And am I like, is pride creeping in where I'm not willing to listen? Entrepreneurs that are not self-aware just won't make it. I visit with so many of them, hundreds of them. And the ones that, I always think it's funny if you get on a consult call with someone like you or me and then you tell us how smart you are. I'm like, what? Okay. I don't know. I don't know if that's really the case since you're here talking to me. And it's that kind of thing, right? But we visit with those people who are like, hey, I am really good at this, but I'm not good at this and I need help. I need someone to come alongside me. I need to supplement, my information. That's just super important. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, every once in a while I'll get somebody who will want to get on a call with me just to prove to me how good they are at sales. And I always think like this feels like a huge waste of not just my time, but of your time. Like if you know this about yourself, why are you getting on a call with me? Like you know what I offer.
Yeah.
So I always like interested about that. And you're right, those people, and I really do try to be this person that I want advice, I want feedback. I don't let everybody give it to me. I am a little bit like cautious about who gets access to give
Yeah.
feedback. Um, but I do want to be challenged because I know that I cannot see my own blind spots. Like I just
Yeah.
can't. So I need other people to be like, "Hey, Nikki, let me show you a blind spot." You're like, you keep walking into a wall and wondering why.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. Hmm.
yeah. So good to have people like you doing what you're doing and helping people understand not just what the inventory-based business is, but this idea of like profit is fun. Making money allows you to do the other things in your life. And
Yeah.
so it's okay to just do the one thing that, other people might be looking at it, or maybe you're looking at it going, well, chapstick's not sexy. That's not fun. Like custom products are super fun, or, whatever, skincare and all of that. But like, yeah, but making money and a 6-month cruise. I'll sell chapstick all day long for that.
Yeah,
I love
exactly.
that. I love that. Okay. Is there anything that we haven't talked about yet that you know that we need to when we're thinking about profitability in our businesses, really being efficient?
Yeah, I think, I don't know. I'm sure your audience, like mine, is very vast in where they're at in their financial journey in their business.
Yeah.
Um, a lot of us as entrepreneurs carry this dirty little secret, or we look really wildly successful from the outside, but behind the scenes, we're stressed out, we're overworked, we're in debt, we can't sleep at night. So I want anyone that's listening that's like feeling like that to know that that's normal. Like that, you're not the only one. You feel like a fraud, but you're not the only one. And I had those feelings too, trapped in my business. How do I get out of this? So much debt. What am I going to do if I can't just quit? And there is hope and you can get out of that, but it takes a lot of work. It takes intentionality, being really honest with how you got there in the first place. And part of that is time management, which brings it back to how we started at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
If you aren't willing to do the hard work of managing the hours in your day, you most likely aren't going to be able to clean up your financial situation. And even if you don't have a big mess, maybe you have no debt at all, but you're just not really paying, you kind of, oh, I kind of pay myself whenever. That's never going to change if you can't manage your time, you can't manage your money. They go hand in hand. So
Mm.
I would just encourage people to really think about that. And then just to take really baby steps. So don't go from I'm a hot mess, to like now I'm gonna every hour is gonna be time blocked. That's never gonna happen. So pick one pattern and do it. Say, every morning for the first 30 minutes, I'm going to read and before I open my email. And I'm just going to do that for a month, right? So small steps, same thing with our finances, same thing with managing our invisible inventory. Like what's one thing that I have behind the scenes that I'm not using? I'm just going to dig into that and small steps, repetitive over and over, and then add in and layer in another new habit.
I feel like you just gave us another little mic drop. Like, if you can't manage your time, you can't manage your money. Like, so good. Such a like,
It goes together
goes
all the
right
time.
to the heart. Like, ah, yeah, so good. I love that too. Thank you so much. All right. So, before we wrap up, I always like to ask a little bit, like let people get to know you. You did such a great job with your bio of letting people know some things about you. But if you're willing, I call this the little something extra
Yeah.
section about you. First is, what is something that brings you joy and or pleasure right now?
I absolutely love helping people find hope when they come to me and just, I mean, lots of tears, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to have to go out of business. My husband doesn't even know I have all this debt. I
Mm,
can't pay my bills. I'm behind, it's so much financial stress. And I know what it was like when that was me and what it felt like when someone like me helped me, and so that just brings me a lot of joy. Like, I just love the story of Megan who took the cruise, or, the story of Emily who started taking a paycheck, or the story of Liz who decided I'm going to sell my business because it's just not serving me. Like, I love that.
hmm.
That brings me a lot of joy. And
Yeah.
I love every entrepreneur's story and every business, like learning about their business. You would be so surprised at all I mean, you can sell anything. Like I have so much different kind of inventory I work with, and that's just super fun. Every story is unique.
Yeah, that is one of the things I find incredibly satisfying and or interesting about the clients that I work with too. Like the things that they do and the things they've done and what they bring to their work. I'm just fascinated
Yeah.
at like what people turn into businesses and how they're able to use their expertise in ways that make such an impact in the world. I just
Yeah.
am so inspired by that. Okay, so what is something exciting going on in your business right now?
In my business.
Hmm.
Um, oh, this is fun. So open to buy, which is an inventory thing. It's basically building a buying budget. Open to buy has been this elusive, it's a formula. They used to use it in retail's changed a lot in how small retail and how they've bought. But everyone wants to create a buying budget so that they can manage their inventory. And I'm doing an open to buy workshop on Monday, which I think this podcast will air after that.
Yeah.
But people can still reach out because I'll have a recording. I have 401 people enrolled. I'm so excited.
Dang!
I am so excited. It's going to be such a fun hour. And what I'm so excited about is that no, it's not complicated. Yes, you can do it on your own. And no, you do not need to hire a firm for $1,000 a month to tell you how to do your open to buy. I'm going to show people how to do it. Simple spreadsheet, simple calculation. And I'm super pumped about an hour with people, like giving them the confidence of like, you're the boss of your business. You can know your numbers. You can figure this out. You are smart enough. So that's what's exciting. I'm so thrilled.
I'm excited for you. And I'm excited for the 401 people
I
that are going to
know.
get
It's going to be
to
great.
learn this. That sounds awesome. Okay. Last question is, how can people connect with you? People listening that are like, I need a little bit more Sierra in my life. What's the best way for them to get in touch?
Yes. So probably my podcast, Inventory Genius. And even if you don't sell product, you're going to find lots of this kind of conversation, lots of helpful tools and tips, things like that. You can get my books, Profit Genius and Inventory Genius on Amazon. And then my website, hello@sierrastockeland.com is my email, or sierrastockeland.com is my website.
Perfect. Thank you so very much for what you shared today. There were so many good takeaways and so many good quotes from you of things that just speak right to the heart, I think, for at least for me, and hopefully too for the listener that's like, oh, I feel like she's talking to me right now. I don't know if I want the spotlight on me right now because of what
Right.
she's saying, but I think this is always a really important conversation. And just thank you for being here. I'm so
Yeah.
grateful.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. And for you, the listener, thank you for showing up. I'm sure you found something helpful out of today's episode that you can implement or that you can take to heart in your own business or life. And if you're willing to share with me and or Sierra, let us know, reach out and connect and or share this episode with somebody you think would benefit. And definitely anybody who has an inventory-based business, make sure they're listening to Sierra's podcast. All right. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks for listening. Take care.